Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itiko bhikkave tathagato datta dattabbang dittang na manyati. Adittang na manyati dattabbang na manyati. Dattharang na manyati ti. Dear friends in Dhamma, so yesterday we stepped into the Sunyata Bhumi as described in the Kalakarama Sutta. So we want to discuss different stages, different levels explained in the Kalakarama Sutta. And as I mentioned, according to the traditional commentarial explanation, Kalakarama Sutta can be explained at 6 or rather 5 different levels. First one is called the Sarvajñata Bhumi, where the omniscience of the Buddha is explained. Second one is the Shinastra Bhumi, where the complete purification, where even the taints, the asavas, are not available in the Buddha's mind. Actually, it's a common thing with the Arahants. So the Arahants are totally free from the asavas, Khina asava. So the taints are not available. 4 taints: Kamasava, Bhavasava, Avijjasava, Ditthasava. So the taint of sensual desire, taint of being, taint of ignorance, and taint of wrong view. So those things are not available. And then the Satya Bhumi, where Buddha affirms about his understanding, about his knowledge, and how he is well established in the truth. And this affirmation about the establishment of the truth. And then we step into the Sunyata Bhumi, that is entirely related with the practice in a way. And so the Sunyata Bhumi, you have to have some understanding of Anicca Dukkha Anatta, then only you can have some understanding of Sunyata. So that's why I thought of taking some time in describing these things, how one may, through the practice, one may realize certain insights. So as I discussed yesterday in the book Paving the Way by Most Venerable Sayadaw U Pandita, some progressive stages are there, starting from very mundane kind of an understanding. So you simplify your perception because our minds are crowded, fairly burdened with so many conventional stuff, various conceptual frameworks. So we have to step out of it and simplify our experience. So while walking, we are limiting our understanding, limiting our attention to the body. So you are not considering so many other things. Okay, we recognize the body is walking. When the body is sitting, okay, you are recognizing, okay, the body is sitting. So once that awareness, body awareness being developed, then you start recognizing various bodily processes. Okay, this is a living body. So this body is breathing. This body is, as a result of the breathing, the rising and falling of the abdomen happens. And maybe the blood circulation happens. And so likewise various bodily processes become more and more evident, and you are now fairly connected with the body. You are not distracted, you are not daydreaming, you are not fantasizing or remembering this and that, regretting about what has happened. So all that kind of conceptual worries, conceptualization, all those are fairly abandoned. Now you are in the present moment. Fairly established in the present moment and fully aware of what's happening within the body. And then probably if we are further refining it, at the moment, are you experiencing the rising? Are you experiencing the gap between rising and falling? At the moment, are you experiencing falling? At the moment, are you experiencing the gap between rising and falling? If you apply the same thing to the walking, at the moment, is your heel touching the ground? Which part is touching the ground? Is your ankle touching the ground? So likewise, many very subtle momentary experience now we are emphasizing. So the mind discarding all other unnecessary perceptions, and now you are more concerned about this momentary subtle experience. And once you further emphasize or further focus your attention, now you are stepping into the dhatu, what we call the elements. So those are the fundamental building blocks of the whole physical realm. So the very fundamental building blocks of the whole physical realm. It is showing the earth characteristics: hardness, roughness, smoothness, roughness, hardness. What's that opposite? Hardness and the smoothness, you can say. Softness, yeah, hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness. And then the heaviness and lightness. So all are the characteristics of the earth element. And then the fluidity and the cohesion. So those are the characteristics of the water element. And then the heat and cold. Those are the characteristics of the fire element. And then the movements, vibrations. Those are the characteristics of the air element. Now these are the very fundamental building blocks of the whole physical realm. One can explain through these 4 elements. If you like, you can add even the space element. In between all these 4 characteristics, there are a significant amount of space available. Absence of these 4 elements is the space. So basically the whole physical world can be explained through these 5 elements. And this body itself is made up with these 5 elements. And now we are paying our attention, keeping the mind fairly focused, also quite mindful. There's a momentary attention, and you have a fair amount of very precise concentration, so you can recognize the manifestation of these different elements. And then probably your understanding can even expand, not limiting to the body. Okay, the whole outside world also the same thing. Internally also earth element, externally also earth element. Internally also water element, and externally also water element. So likewise the typical man-made demarcations, labeling, frames, all those things are abandoned. Very much like you are generalizing, okay, everywhere mere elements. But on the other hand, one can further understand, okay, these elements are not some fixed, permanent entities, rather they are changing processes. And they show some instantaneous existence. It is not something exists for a long time. They are constantly arising and passing away. So we are coming to another level of understanding that the all conditioned phenomena are showing certain 3 characteristics. They show the characteristics of arising, changing, passing away, which is common to all the elements, common to all the feelings. Whatever the feeling, say if it is a pleasurable feeling, it also shows arising part, changing part, and ceasing part, disappearing part. It may be a painful feeling. That feeling also arises, persists for a while, and then disappear. How about an emotion? Emotion also arises, persists, and disappear. How about a thought? It also come and go, appear and then disappear. So likewise, these are the common characteristic where all conditioned phenomena are showing like. It is not someone is influencing this, rather they have their intrinsic characteristic that if they are arising, they are subject to pass away. So these are in a way kind of insights one may gain by observation. You might have heard this, you might have learned this when you are studying the Buddhism, but that is merely a superficial understanding. But right now what we are trying to do is experientially to understand it. It's a kind of a noble experience or noble experiment, one can say. Ariya Pariyesana, where you develop certain amount of mindfulness, certain amount of concentration, and you balance the effort and pay attention to the body and see how these phenomena are changing. And you yourself have the insight then, not borrowed from the Buddha. Buddha has clearly mentioned, but now you as a own experimenting person as a scientist, so you are also observing it, experiencing it. So those are actually eye-opening type of experiences. And that understanding particularly begins with the impermanence, how things are impermanent. They are not lasting for a long time, and they are quite impermanent. Samudaya dhammanupasseva kayasmin viharati, vaya dhammanupasseva kayasmin viharati. Whatever the bodily phenomena, they are showing the rising side and the passing away side. Samudaya dhammanupasseva vedanasu viharati, vaya dhammanupasseva vedanasu viharati. Whatever the feelings show that rising and passing away. Whatever the thoughts, whatever the ideas, emotions show the same characteristic. So the impermanence become more and more evident to the yogi, and that itself is a fairly wealthy and fairly high potential insight, which is actually even reducing fair amount of grasping. So typically our mind grasped onto something, say something beautiful, okay, immediately mind likes it, attached to it, want to own it, want to possess it, I want it. So this is a typical nature of the mind. If something is beautiful, we are being attracted to that. We get trapped in it. So if something is not beautiful, quite ugly, then probably kind of a repulsion. So I don't want it, I want to get rid of it. So that kind of a typical attitude. Either we attract or either we repulse. But with the practice, you are very much like now maintaining a fairly balanced approach. There may be beauty, there may be ugliness, but your mind is now maintaining kind of a balanced attitude. So with the practice, so more and more that balance may improve, equanimity may improve, and irrespective whether it is beautiful, good, auspicious, or either it is ugly, bad, or not auspicious, but mind can maintain kind of a balance. So these kinds of different aspects are now growing in the mind as one is practicing. And on top of that, say, too strong grasping, always wanting to win, always want to show off, always want to highlight as a person, as a self, as an individual. So that also may reduce. Now that is the area now actually we need to discuss. So this anicca, the impermanence, is not a quality stops at that level. There may be a possibility it may diverge towards the suffering side. That means if one is understanding impermanence, and if it is understood in a very thorough way, there could be a possibility that he may understand, okay, it is constantly subject to this kind of a transient nature. You can't stop it. It's quite oppressed by this impermanence. It's a transient characteristic. Things are quickly arise and pass away, quickly disappear, quickly get destroyed. So then it is a kind of an oppression. So it's a suffering. So one may decide, okay, it is a suffering. You can't expect a lasting happiness with this kind of a change in behavior. This kind of a quite abrupt, quite transient behavior. How can I expect a lasting happiness? So the mind might turns towards the dukkha, the sufferings aspect as well. Not only that, the mind can turn towards the anatta as well, the non-self aspect as well. So typically, it is not the non-self immediately one might understand. Rather, one will step into the impermanence, and when one is understanding fairly on impermanence, naturally it may diverge into the non-self. That is well explained in one sutta called Meghiya Sutta. So Buddha inform or explain to Venerable Meghiya, anicca sannyino Meghiya anatta sanya santhati. So when one's mind is established in the impermanence, then it may further emphasize or further establish on the non-self. when the perception of impermanence is fairly growing in one's mind, it may end up, or it may further grow, step into the perception of non-self. And not only that, anatta sanyi asmimanang samuggahatam. So if one's mind is well established in the anatta, the non-self, asmimana samuggahatam, that means the conceit I am, that is a very, very subtle defilement we perceive as a sense, as a person, as an individual, sense of I, is quite different from the, not quite different, maybe it is different from the sakkaya ditthi, the personality view. So even that subtle conceit I am is abandoned when the mind is well established in the anatta. Asmimana samuggahatam papunati, ditteva dhamme nibbana. In this very life one attains nibbana. So likewise the anatta sanya is a fairly profound area, and so as we mentioned, so if one is practicing or understanding more and more about anicca, impermanence, his understanding can diverge towards the anatta as well, establish in the understanding of non-self as well. And typically with respect to anatta, the non-self, so the five aggregates. So another explanation is that the five aggregates. So we typically think that there is a person here, individual here, I have a name, I have my possessions, I have a house, this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my children. So this is how we typically perceive, this is how we typically think in terms of the mundane, quite ignorant way. But Buddha gives us another way of looking at things. Okay, these are merely five aggregates operating. Five aggregates. So the form aggregate is there. So that is the whole physical body and the whole physical realm. And then the feelings aggregate. So different kinds of feelings are there. And different perceptions, different recognitions, different marks, signs, the sanya, the perceptions aggregate is there. And different mental formations, thinking, thoughts, ideas, different mental formations, the sankhara, upadana khandha, the formations aggregate is there. And with these different faculties, you are consciously seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. So that interaction with the body and the outside, so that kind of a conscious living, conscious knowing is also there. That is another aggregate, vijnana khandha. So this whole experience can be well explained, well categorized, deeply analyzed using these five aggregates. Form aggregate, feeling aggregate, perceptions aggregate, formations aggregate, and the consciousness aggregate. Now, when it comes to anatta, the form aggregate is empty of a self. Feelings aggregate, empty of a self. Perceptions aggregate, empty of a self. Formations aggregate, empty of a self. Consciousness aggregate, empty of a self. So where is the self then? Are you sleeping? Awake? So where is the self? So typically say at the second grade, probably you are asked to write a poem or essay about yourself. Have you written that essay about yourself? So that means by the second grade you had the self. So when I am asking where is self, can't you explain? Can't you answer? Can't you write about yourself now? So we like to write our essay about myself, right? So teacher is asking, okay, please students, tomorrow assignment, write about yourself. Okay, myself, the topic, okay, blah, 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 blah. Myself. So that is how we are being promoted to have a self, being an individual. Our teachers, our parents, our society, everybody is telling, okay, you are somebody, you are a very important person. So these are your possessions. So everything is very much like promoting a self. So this is how we build up an ego, this is how we build up individuality. So that is fairly strongly inculcated in our mind. But Buddha is giving us a kind of a challenge. Okay, you look at this whole experience using 5 aggregates. There's a form aggregate, feeling aggregate, perceptions aggregate, formations aggregate, consciousness aggregate. And now deeply analyze it. Okay, use your mindfulness, use your quality of investigation, focus your attention onto the form aggregate and see its proper nature, its real nature. And then you understand, okay, these mere elements, as we already discussed, okay, this is just mere elements. And by that time, probably a certain amount of self-view can be abandoned. Because more you understand this whole body is nothing but elements, so the wrong perception of a self can be abandoned. It can happen at different levels. At one level is that the more and more thorough understanding that this body is nothing but a mere manifestation of 4 elements. Then where can I find an existing self? Is there a living being inside? Is there a self, eternal soul? So likewise the mind may question us. Previously we were taught like that. Our minds were conditioned like that. But now as the wisdom is growing, so that old habitual thinking, conditioned thinking might be challenged. Okay, where can I find a self within this elementary characteristics? It's continuously changing and arising and passing away, and I can't find anything other than all these elements within the body and the outside. Everywhere is mere elements. So where is the self? So probably one might understand, okay, within the form aggregate, Rupa Khandha, you can't find a self. And on the other hand, there is another aspect we can think, as in the Anatta Lakkana Sutta. So typically, one attribute of self is that we think we can govern things. Suppose that you have a car, you have a vehicle, and why you say it is my car? Why you say it is my child, my wife, my husband? Any idea? My wealth. Because you can control it. To some extent you expect controllability. Okay, this is my car, so my petrol. I can put something and I can go to wherever I like. Okay, it's my car. So I can't take someone else's car. Okay, this is my car. So I can travel anywhere because it belongs to me. I can have some control over it. How about your wife? Can you control? How about your husband? My wife, my husband. So that's how, that's why we have that kind of a perception. Okay, my wife should obey my orders. My husband should obey my orders. Because she's my wife, he's my husband. So we are trying to impose the same attribute here also. And same thing with the children. Okay, they are my children. You should listen to my words. So I am your father, I am your mother. You should listen to me. So likewise we are trying to impose our kind of possessive, egoistic attitude, thinking that things are controllable. And how about the body? Body is also my body, no? Right? This is my body. Then why are you getting sick? So this is the argument Buddha is taking in the Anatta Lakkana Sutta. So if it is your body, so why are you getting old? Why are you getting sick? Why is it dying? Is it your wish? Did you wish to get old? Did you wish to get chikungunya? I heard that many people are affected by chikungunya. Did you really wish to get the influence of chikungunya? So did you wish it? So why are you taking it? So then where's the controllability with respect to this form aggregate? So therefore we understand, okay, I mean, it is an illusion. You don't have that kind of a controllability. Even though I say this is my body, it is actually dependent on so many other factors, and it can be influenced by so many other things. Even a mosquito can change its destiny. Then where is my controllability? It's kind of quite helpless in a way. It's a very feeble, very weak. We say it is my body, but even a stray dog come and bite, and you end up in rabies? My goodness. So where is your controllability? So if we deeply even contemplate, we understand, okay, it's a false controllability. We are very much like thinking. We think this is my body, so it should be behaving the way I want, but it is not. It behaves as the way it wants in a way. There are various conditioning factors, influencing factors, and those may go against my wish. I may have different wishes, I may have different ideas, desires, but the body doesn't listen to those. It will go on its own path. So likewise, the more you understand the impermanence, one aspect of non-self is this non-controllability. One aspect of non-self is the non-controllability, where you understand, okay, it's very difficult to control things. You can't govern things. Okay, we think, okay, I have my authority, I can control, I can govern things. But you understand, okay, things are not governable. I can't control everything. I probably have a certain amount of controllability, but most of the time I don't have. That is one aspect of non-self. Then another aspect is, one can say, it's empty of a self internally. There is no lasting self internally. So how can I have a lasting self, eternal self internally, when things are constantly arising and passing away? So all the matter, when you are experiencing instantaneous arising and passing away of different matter, different these elements, so how can you expect an unchanging eternal soul in it, inside the body? So that's also being challenged, because you understand things are very, very quickly arising and passing away. They are quite instantaneous, quite spontaneous like. Quite transient. So within this kind of a very transient process, how can I say, okay, there is a eternal lasting self? So then you may understand, okay, within the body it can't be. Within this physical world it can't be. So I am just talking only about the physical world, the form aggregate. Now how about the feelings? So if you practice Vedananupassana, same argument we can make. Okay, when the feelings are quickly arising and passing away, so how can you attribute a self into the feelings? Similarly, if you put it to the perception, so different perceptions are there, they are quickly coming and going, how can you attribute a self into the perceptions? How about the thoughts, emotions? So they also come and go. Can you say the morning what you thought, the thoughts that you experience in the morning, are they existing right now? All are gone. So the morning thoughts are you, or the evening thoughts are yourself? Which thoughts you define as yourself? It's a useless argument. So thoughts are merely thoughts, they come and go. Ideas come and go. So then how can you say, okay, the thoughts are me, myself, belong to me? So they are mere phenomena. And seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, is it a self? So likewise, even through argument one can prove, okay, it is also not self. But that mere argument is not enough, mere logical reasoning is not enough. So the practice helps us to deeply experience it, deeply investigate it. Using the mindfulness, concentration, and the proper balanced, focused attention, then you are deeply investigating the whole process. You are investigating the bodily processes, form aggregate, feelings, different perceptions, different mental formations, everything you are more and more investigating. And understanding comes, okay, you can't say there is a self in the form aggregate. There is a self in the feelings. There is an eternal, unchanging self in the perceptions, thoughts, consciousness. That's another way of looking at the non-self. So, sunyata, now we can get into that, sunyata. Now, definition of sunyata, in many suttas Buddha mentioned like, and certain monks actually ask, Bhante, why is it called sunyo lokoti bhante vucchati, kittavatanuko bhante sunyo lokoti vucchati. And it is mentioned, Bhante, it is the world is empty, world is empty. Why is it called world is empty? And Buddha answers, it is empty of a self and what belongs to a self. Sunyamidang attenava attaniyenava. So that's the definition for the sunyata, where it is empty of a self and what belongs to a self. So it is not mere this body. The whole world, physical, mental, whole world is empty of a self and what belongs to a self. So by mere telling it, it's very difficult to understand, but more you experientially recognize the impermanent nature, probably you may step into the understanding of non-self nature through non-governability. Okay, things are non-governable. One way of understanding. And probably you may get the understanding, okay, internally there can't be a permanent thing. Things are very transient, so there can't be a permanent self. So another way of understanding. And when there is no self permanently in the form aggregate, feeling, perceptions, formations, consciousness, then there is no self internally. And is there a self externally? Then probably answer comes, because internally also there is no self, externally also there is no self. Is there anything belong to the self? Which part belongs to the self? So again you make the answer, okay, you can't say anything belongs to the self. So therefore, in the Kalakarama Sutta, Buddha goes to a fairly deep explanation about this sunyata in a fairly descriptive way. And this is a very interesting sutta I found, explained the anatta, the sunyata, in a fairly deep way. So let's take one area. Ithiko bhikkave tathagato dattha datthabbang ditthaṃ na maññati aditthaṃ na maññati datthabbang na maññati dattharang na maññati. Now for the arahants, other than mere seeing, he does not conceive thinking there is something. What is this? Clock. Now you can think, right? When there is a thing, you can think. So in order to think, T-H-I-N-K, think, you need things, right? Without things, can you think? So we need objects, right? We need some objects to think. So the idea is, concepts are necessary to think. So whenever we are making a thing, a solid thing, so our mind is promoted to think. We are eager to think. Oh, it's a beautiful clock. Okay, you can start having some affection, some desire, or you hate it. Oh, I hate it. It's just a very cheap clock. So you can think in many different ways when things are there. So you solidify things. So all time what we do is we label and create things. Right? We are living in a world full of things. It has its unique name, it has its unique dimension, whatever the orientation, everything. And so that we are living in a full of things, among many things we are living. So whenever we see thing, we are tempted to think. And we solidify and we objectify. So our typical way of paying attention always objectify things. Say here we have say 50 people. So individually you all have your unique name. So I can see you as a specific person. So then I can think about you. Okay, you are beautiful, you are ugly, you are old, you are say wealthy, or you are sick. Whatever the way. So I can think when I individually recognize each one of you as an individual self, individual person, individual someone. So making someone or making something is the way how we perceive the world. Every time we make a self, someone in front when we see. I see you. So you is there, someone is there, an individual is there, a woman is there, a man is there, a boy is there, a girl is there. So likewise if we consider the living world, so we make people, we make self, we make individual, and this is how we perceive, and then it promotes thinking, and thinking that there is a self there, individual there, so the thinking happens, what we call as the conceiving. Considering there is a self, then I am tempted to think, so the conceiving. Or the other side, the objectification, where the objects are there. Clock is there, mic is there, say the record is there, pillows is there, mats are there. So everywhere, so we have things, we have given their proper names, that's what we learned. And now they become very important, very valuable, and they have their unique names, their appearance, all that. And when I see, I recognize them individually. Oh, this is a pillow, this is a clock, this is a mic. Then I can think. So we objectify when we see. So how about the Buddha? When he want to spend his time in the sunyata, in emptiness, abide by emptiness, itiko bhikkave tathagato datta dattabbang dittang na manyati. Whenever he see, there is no conceiving, thinking there is someone, something. Can you do that? Can you stop by mere seeing? In other terms, the same thing what Buddha said to the Bahya. Ditte ditta mattam bhavissati. Itiko Bahya, ditte ditta mattam bhavissati. Evang sikkitabang. Okay, when you see, keep mere seeing, don't proliferate, don't think, don't conceive, don't mix your own ideas, desires, aversions, anything into the picture. Seeing is mere seeing. So this very instruction is very, very deep, very, very profound. Mere seeing. Now I give you an example. Now when I show this, so your attention is fairly landed upon this clock, right? So assume that you are having kind of an overview. You are looking at a very broad overview. And when I am particularly raising this and asking, okay, look at this. So I make something, right? I am making some significant thing. And you are instructed to land your attention on this, position your attention on this. Are you broadening your attention or narrowing your attention? You are narrowing, right? Focusing your attention. You are narrowing your attention. So your attention is then established, right? Your attention is established on this. So once the attention is established, that means I am distinctly recognizing something. And it has a label also. Now you remember, okay, it is named as label, its color is green, so it is called clock, and the purpose of this clock is this. So blah blah, you can now think, and you get all the information related to this particular object. Now you are thinking, you are understanding, and remembering, planning, all these things are possible. The conceiving can happen. And if assume that yesterday you lost your clock, probably you might now thinking, oh, is it my clock? Oh, I also want to take it to my home. Can I borrow it? Or can I steal it? So, other than mere seeing, now you are putting your own stuff into the picture. It is not mere seeing. So, your mind is now mixing up with the vision. It is not a mere vision now. Your mind is now mixing, your mind is adding, interfering with the vision. So, ditte dittamatam bhavisati basically means, okay, you have a vision. It is a kind of broader vision, and you are not putting your stuff into it. You can mere see, that's it. Mere seeing. How about the mind? Mind remains calm, mind remains tranquil, mind remains quiet. Does it has any attachment? No. Any repulsion? Still no. Any engagement with that particular object? Still no. Any proliferation? No. Is it your attention landed upon particularly that on object? No. You have focused attention on that object? Also no. So if your attention particularly established on that object, then definitely you are being trapped. You are solidifying things, you are objectifying things. So you have something then. You have something then. So ditte ditta mattam bhavisati means, okay, you are having kind of a vision, but you are quite detached from that vision. So your mind is not mixing with that vision. Seeing is happening, but there is no mixing with that vision. So it's pretty deep actually. And sometimes, we can't simply sort of logically understand it even. How can have this kind of a thing? So by mere reasoning, by mere logical thinking, so you can't understand how to do it, right? So you might think, okay, how is going to happen? Every time I see things, I see people. Isn't it the truth? Isn't it the truth? Isn't it the way to see things? Isn't it the correct way to look at things? Right? So this is the way we think. But as the wisdom is growing, the mind withdraw from objectifying things. Mind withdraw from solidifying things. Rather, a clear vision is there. Okay, mind remains relaxed, calm, not mixing with things, not objectifying things. So the Buddha, the Arahant, itiko bhikkhave tathagato datta dattabbang dittang na manyati. So thinking that there is a thing, there is an object, there is someone. So Buddha doesn't have any kind of a conceiving in his mind. And then, next part. Adittang na manyati. Means, okay, assume that not only seeing, not seeing also a cause of thinking. Not seeing. Say you are not seeing anything. So when I am asking, do you see a basketball? Now you can think of a basketball, but you can't see it. But I am showing clock and asking, can you see a basketball? And probably you might say, oh, I can't see a basketball. So what you haven't seen also a cause of proliferation, can cause thinking. Currently you are not seeing a basketball. You may be seeing a clock, but not seeing a basketball, that itself has made you a mind actively thinking. Not based on this, not based on really what you see, even what you not see. Currently you don't see a basketball, but you can think about it. Currently your eyes are not seeing basketball, but your mind is thinking about a basketball. Likewise, adittang is also another cause of thinking. Because you have perception of a thing, basketball is something that you know, and currently you can't see, but you can think. And it can cause proliferation, it can cause many different ways of thinking. So, not only seeing, but not seeing also another way of conceiving. But for the Buddha, the Arahants, adittang na manyati. Not seeing also not a cause for proliferation. By not seeing, he is not conceiving. Seeing also he is not conceiving, not seeing also he is not conceiving. Seeing also he is not proliferating, not seeing also not proliferating. Now say for example, you didn't see your son for a long time. You didn't see your car for a long time. Someone has stolen your car. Once you get out of Kalalgoda after the Dhamma sermon, okay, your car being stolen. You can't see the car. A cause of proliferation, cause of anxiety. Not seeing. A cause of anxiety. So likewise, it is not only the seeing, even the non-seeing, a cause of this kind of a proliferation, conceiving. Now for the Arahants, not seeing is not a cause of conceiving. Adittang na manyati. Then the third part, that is dattabbang na manyati, where it should be seen. You are emphasizing, okay, it should be seen. There's something to be seen. Very, very important to see. So someone is saying, okay, you should see it. And you are, oh, still I can't see, no? I should see it. So you are worried, okay, he's telling, oh, I should see it, but I can't see it, no? So you are thinking. Because someone has emphasized, okay, this is something to see. Then you are thinking, okay, it is something to see, and then you think that tabbang. It is something to see. And then that also cause of proliferation, but for the Arahant, that tabbang na manyati. There is no something that so much important, so much emphasized. Based on that you think that is not with an Arahant. And the last one is the most challenging one, dattarang na manyati. Thinking that there is an observer, there is an agent who is seeing. Where when I am saying I see you, I mean you are the external thing, someone. Here, I am the observer. So, my experience is based on an observer then. I see. I am the one seeing. I saw it first. I witnessed it. So this is a way that we are telling, right? So I witnessed it, I saw it. Through my own eyes, I saw it. Right? So how you say, no, I saw it by my own eyes. So there is I here, observer. So as a result of that, you start conceiving, thinking that there is someone who is seeing. There is a seer, S-E-E-R. There is a seer. But for the Buddha, the Arahant, dattarang na manyati. So he doesn't conceive thinking that there is a seer, there is an observer, there is an agent here, there is a self here who is seeing. There is no such conceiving. So you can see even this little task of seeing how deep and how empty. And you can't find a person, individual in the outside by objectifying, by personifying. That is also empty. And non-seeing, that is also empty. That tabbang, something to see, some important thing to see, that is also empty. And that tarang na manyati, someone who is seeing, observer seeing, a seer seeing, that's also empty. Four levels of emptiness in a way, fairly profound, fairly deep, and how this analysis has gone to a fair depth. So typically the point is that sometimes it's easy to understand, okay, when you are deeply analyzing, probably it is easy to understand, okay, the objects are not there in the physical world. But who is knowing it then? Who is knowing it then? There should be someone who is knowing it, who is seeing it. How about hearing? Say there are sounds. Now, say someone is singing a song. For us, when we recognize it as a song, so it is something that we can think, something we can sing, something we can enjoy, because it's a beautiful song sung by, say, Amaradeva. So Amaradeva's beautiful song. Can you remember one song? Okay, when someone is singing, oh my goodness, beautiful song, very emotional. I was singing that, during my college time, during my campus time, blah, blah, blah. You can think. It's a beautiful song. It is something. You can connect with it. That is something. I mean, based on the sound, it is not mere sound now. It is a song now. Isn't it? It is not anymore mere different kinds of sounds, combination of different sounds. Rather, it is a song, very important song, beautiful song, sung by someone. Then you can think. How about someone blaming? Someone is blaming. Oh, how the hell he is talking like this to me? So you create a person and given some emphasis to each and every word, and he blamed me. So this is how we now can think, we can take revenge, we can have some aversion, and we can also blame. All these things are happening because it is not a mere sound. It is a blame. It is a criticism. He criticized me. He blamed me. It's no more sound. It is a blame. Similarly, maybe a praise. Okay, he praised me. Then you like him, you love him, and you venerate him because he praised me. Because we have given some emphasis to the words, to the sounds. To the sounds we have emphasized the words, and we given names or meaning to those words, and we go thinking according to those meanings, and we think, and we are thinking. It's no more words, no more sounds. They are words, they are praise, they are criticisms, they are songs, etc. So we objectify the sounds as songs, as blames, as praises. So other than sounds, what are they? Now if you look at from the elements point of view, when I am talking to you, other than sounds, what are you hearing? Even now, you simply hear sounds, right? But to these sounds, so you are attributing, you are mapping with your own past information, past knowledge. Okay, this particular sound represents this particular English word, and it has this meaning. Okay, word. What is it? Is it a word or a sound? So it's a sound, right? It's a sound. But when I am saying word, okay, you have some pre-gathered information. Okay, word is this, and this is the meaning of the word. Okay, I am saying, okay, crow, crow, crow. What is that? It's also a sound, but you have a meaning to that sound that you learned during your kindergarten. Okay, crow is this, and okay, it is a very, very naughty bird. So it's not a nice one. It's not a beautiful one. Okay, it's going like this. It's crows like this. Make sound like this. Oh, some information is there. So when I make that particular sound, so you attribute the information what you gathered, and you recognize it as a word, and its meaning is that. But other than the sounds, nothing is there. But how about you maintaining your mind without objectifying the sounds? Mere sounds are there. You are not adding your own likes, dislikes, attachments, criticisms, eye makings, mind makings, nothing but mere sounds are there. Sutte sutamatta. Something like that. So when someone is blaming to you, can you do that? When someone is praising to you, can you do that? When someone else is talking to someone else while you are just walking, can you do that? Little, right? Because you can simply ignore. Say, while you being a Sinhalese person, someone is talking in Tamil, can you do that? Because you don't know, you can't understand, probably you can do that. Then why can't you do that when they are talking in Sinhala? Isn't it? I mean, if you analyze like this, so we can understand, okay, there is something going wrong here. Say, when someone is talking in Hindi, okay, assume that you have no understanding about Hindi, and he is talking. I can't understand, okay, you can think something else. Whatever he talked is completely meaningless to me because I don't understand. But when they are talking in Sinhala, when they are talking in English, okay, my mind go and interrupt it. Go and try to listen it. Even though it is completely irrelevant to me, since the language is something that I know, my mind get involved with it, isn't it? It may be someone else's discussion. But if it is happening from a language that you know, probably your mind slowly peek into it, try to listen to it. Oh, they were talking on that. Someone else's business. And also I am interested. So I am interrupting in a way. I am interfering in a way for someone else's discussion. So likewise, what we need to understand is now, when the different sounds are made, we even objectify the sounds based on our old understanding, and we objectify the sounds as names, as labels, as words, as sentences, as meanings, as criticisms, as songs, many different ways. But the Arahant, if they want, so they can simply maintain the level that they are mere sounds. They are not objectifying it. Even though they hear, their minds is unattached, their minds are not repelled, not engaged, not trapped, not making a self. So the mind still can listen. They are not deaf, they can listen, but the mind remain calm, quiet, tranquil, untangled. So, and similarly, we can go on and on, understand in this area. So how Buddha is advising Venerable Bahir. So Buddha is asking, okay, Bahir, you got to restrain yourself like this. When there is seeing, you should have only mere seeing. When there is hearing, you should have only mere hearing. Don't add your things. Don't color it. So merely limit it to mere seeing, mere listening, or mere sounds. Mute mutamattam bhavisati. When you smell, taste, touch, okay, don't color it. you can recognize some sort of a, say, smell, taste, tangible. Don't color it, just limit it to that. So don't put your own stuff into it. And whenever a thought comes to the mind, let it come, let it go, let it come, let it be, let it go. Don't interfere it, don't color it, don't condition it. So if we are doing like that, so then the proliferation is fairly stopped, objectification is fairly stopped, I-making, mind-making at your side is also fairly stopped. So the mind has to become very, very quiet. And it has to stop any kind of a fabrication. Now if I ask you a question, is the wise mind do more fabrications or unwise mind do more fabrications? So the unwise mind tend to do more fabrications, right? Avijja pacca sankhara. More and more the ignorance available in our mind, prevalent in our mind tends to do more fabrications. But the opposite has to happen if we are developing in Vipassana. If the understanding is growing, mind has to give up this fabrication. Mind has to basically stop this fabrication. You need to understand the uselessness of this fabrication process and to keep the mind fairly quiet, calm, tranquil, without getting involved, without being disturbed. Even though the sights are there, the sounds are there, the smells, tastes, tangibles, thoughts are there. So why can't I keep my mind quiet, undisturbed? So likewise we can see in the aspect of sunyata, as explained in this Kalakarama Sutta, it's a fairly deep actually, and help us to fairly analyze it at many different ways. It actually divides our experience to many different layers. So objectifying at the outside layer, individuation at the outside layer, at the first category, and the second one emphasizing, okay, this should be something, or rather, I couldn't see it, not seeing side, the negation side also can cause the proliferation, that also has to be avoided. And then the overemphasis or emphasizing something, highlighting something so that the mind is tempted to thinking, that also has to be avoided. And then the last one, here, attributing a self as an observer, attributing a self to the seer, listener as such, that also has to be avoided. So there may be seeing, but there is no seer. There may be a kind of listening, but there can't be a listener. There may be one who is going through kind of a taste, but there is no someone is experiencing that taste. So likewise, similarly, there may be thoughts, but there is no thinker. So as the common book, I often mention, Thoughts Without a Thinker by Mark Epstein. So you can see how beautifully he used the term Thoughts Without a Thinker, a book by Mark Epstein. So it has gone to very profound level that now the people are talking on this actually. There are thoughts, but there is no thinker. Thinking is there, but there is no thinker. Very interesting. Okay, with that note, I will conclude today's Dhamma sermon. It's a fairly interesting area. And I wind up this session and thank you very much for attentive listening. Yes? Yeah, come forward please. But we don't have a mic, so you have to come forward to ask the question. Feeling in your body. Yeah. So it's a living body, no? So it is it's being felt because it's a living body. It's a conscious body. So we are living in the conscious world. So this conscious world have the capacity to be conscious. Can't stop it. Because this is a living body and the conscious body. So it's naturally I am I am subject to some kind of a knowing, subject to some kind of a feeling. It's an inherent capacity, it's an inherent characteristic. I can't stop it. Till the death, I have to be conscious. No escape. So this is actually being answered in one, in a way that, in say for example in the Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, so Buddha say when there is a fairly fatal kind of a feeling, okay, then still the yogi knows, okay, it's a fairly fatal feeling. Okay, he knows, okay, it is going to end this life. Okay, I understand. Okay, it's going to end this life. Such kind of a feeling. But not attached to any of these feelings, not holding to any of these feelings, not identifying with any of these feelings as this feeling is me, this feeling is mine, it's a beautiful feeling, it's my feeling, it's a, it's a pleasurable feeling, I need to attach to that feeling. There is no such things. Not being attached, whatever the feelings arise, they ultimately pass away without grasping. That's it. End of suffering. So even the Arahants feel, they can't stop because it's a conscious body. That's why, in suttas like Chula Sunyata Sutta, Buddha emphasizes, even though they are Arahants, they are now free from any kind of an agitation, any kind of a mental suffering, coming becomes of the taints, coming becomes of the asavas. Since there is no asava, kamasava related agitation is not there with them now. Bhavasava related agitation is not there with them now. Avijjasava related agitation is not there with them. But there is this living conscious body, they are still functioning. Agitation related to this body is still available. Can't help. It may get sick, it may get old, and you end up with some kind of food poisoning. Different things are there, you have to bear it. And you feel cold, you may feel heat, you have to bear it. Because it's a conscious body. As a result of this living conscious body, there is still agitation present. Buddha accepts it. So therefore, even the Arahants get sick. Still they feel some kind of a bodily, agitation. That can't be avoided. And it happens only at the death, final passing away, anupada parinibbana. So what the Arahants, when they fully realize the Dhamma and they fully attain the enlightenment, that is called the sopadisesa nibbana. So the sopadisesa nibbana means the fully, completely detached from any kind of a grasping mentally, but the body is still living. These aggregates the old aggregates are still continuing. Till that there is a certain amount of suffering. Because they are conscious, they are, conditioned phenomena. They go through some kind of an agitation, you have to bear it. But only at the final passing away, one attains the anupadisesa nibbana, then complete cooling. So don't try to be unconscious. Be conscious. And Buddha every time promotes the conscious. It's not the asanyi. He never promotes any asanyi states. Rather, he promotes the sanyi state. It's a sanyi. It's a conscious living. And sometimes people get misunderstand. Okay, when we are talking, okay, even though you see you are not thinking, Bhante, is it conscious? Are you unconscious? No, you are conscious. Still you are living. You are fully conscious. It's not that we are promoting any kind of unconsciousness or any kind of unconscious state of mind. You are maintaining very conscious state of mind. But mind is not tangled in anything. Mind is not deluded by anything. So mind is not trapped in anything, but still conscious. It's a very, very, fairly profound area. Certain monks are asking, when Buddha is explaining, certain monks are asking, Bhante, are they experiencing that consciously or unconsciously? So monks are asking that. Then Buddha say categorically, monks, they consciously experience it. Consciously experience it. Sanyi. Okay, we'll stop. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah. Okay, there's a short sharing of merits. Breakfast dana offered by Rohan Karunaratna to pass merits to his parents, Sarojini and Norman Karunaratna, and to his in-laws, Prema and Riyat Vikramaratna. And then today's lunch dana was offered by Dishna Ranasinghe, merits to be transferred to Mrs. Sushila Ranasinghe, who celebrated her birthday in May, and to the late Dr. Tareen Veerasinghe, and to all yogis striving to end samsara. Okay, so we have gathered fair amount of merits today also, and we share these merits with all the past relatives, with all the celestial beings and whoever in need of merits. And we wish these merits help us also to attain path fruition. We will recite the traditional verses. Etavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Etavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Etavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.